NY Times: The Athletic celebrates China competing Eileen Gu, while scolding U.S. hockey team over Trump visit. The New York Times sports section, The Athletic, published articles this week celebrating Eileen Gu, an American-born Olympic skier who chose to compete for China, and criticizing the U.S. men's Olympic hockey team for agreeing to visit with President Donald Trump after their gold medal win. The analysis piece about Gu, headlined Inside the Mind of Eileen Gu, Winter Olympic Superstar, and so much more, noted that the athlete has won the most gold medals of any free skier and was the highest earner at the Olympics. With 3 silvers and 3 golds to her name across 2 Olympics, Gu is a freak of nature, extraordinary in every sense of the word. So what is next for a young woman who seems to have it all? The Times analysis said. The story quoted Gu talking about her events. I guess it's more like, I don't know, it's very honest. It makes you look in the mirror and see who you are. You can't lie to yourself. The work you've done or haven't, Gu said, per The Athletic. The Wall Street Journal reported in early February that Gu and another Olympic athlete was set to be paid a combined $6.6 million in 2025 by the Beijing Municipal Sports Bureau, citing a public budget that was released in early 2025. Gu and the other athlete was set to be paid $14 million in total over the past 3 years by the Bureau, according to the journal. The piece noted criticism of Gu, reporting that some may question her honesty and values because of the journal's reporting. However, the piece continued, you would be forgiven if you thought Gu was a quasi-human robot expertly created by artificial intelligence, so eloquent are her responses to the media. But she is not immune to pressure, and after losing her balance on her first run in the halfpipe, she felt it. Yet Gu bet on herself, not only in this event, but even daring to compete in 3 Winter Olympic events, slopestyle, halfpipe, and big air, the only female freestyle skier to do so. The Athletic's analysis said. Despite all the praise for Gu, The Athletic's Jerry Brewer admonished the U.S. men's hockey team in a piece published Tuesday headlined, The U.S. men's Olympic hockey team won gold, and then lost the room. Brewer wrote that typically, speaking to the president after winning gold and agreeing to visit would be part of an obligatory celebration, but that it was different with Trump in office. But this isn't a neutral climate. This isn't a neutral president. And in a nation this polarized, the proximity carries weight whether the players are being intentional or merely naive. America no longer experiences these rituals in the same way, and it may never again. Athletes would be wise to recognize that, in this climate, celebration is easily repurposed into political capital, he wrote. The hockey team neither created this divide nor possessed a shrewd political instinct to wrap their victory in a partisan glow. But when they stepped so early into that embrace, they narrowed their moment, Brewer continued. It doesn't ruin what they accomplished in defeating a seemingly indomitable Canadian squad. But the widespread celebration is over now, and some of their goodwill has diminished. Brewer argued the athletes needed to be more savvy and said they misread the moment. These champions have agency, he wrote. In the afterglow of triumph, they have more agency than they ever will. They should be wary of giving it away so casually. In modern sports, victories are no longer measured only in medals and trophies. They are also measured in narratives, identities, and political interpretations. The controversy surrounding the New York Times sports section The Athletic, which praised freestyle skiing superstar Eileen Gu while criticizing the U.S. men's hockey team for visiting former President Donald Trump, offers a powerful example of how sports journalism can become entangled with political and cultural debates. This story is not simply about a skier or a hockey team. It reflects deeper questions about national identity, athlete autonomy, media bias, and the complicated relationship between sports and politics in the 21st century. The rise of Eileen Gu. Eileen Gu is one of the most extraordinary athletes in modern winter sports. Born in California to an American father and Chinese mother, Gu became a global superstar in freestyle skiing at a very young age. She competed for the United States early in her career but announced in 2019 that she would represent China instead. Her decision sparked intense debate. Some critics accused her of abandoning the country where she was raised. Others defended her right to embrace her Chinese heritage. Gu herself explained that she wanted to inspire young athletes in China and help grow the sport there. From a purely athletic perspective, her achievements are undeniable. She has accumulated multiple Olympic medals and is considered one of the most decorated freestyle skiers in the world. But the political implications of her decision transformed her into something more than just an athlete. She became a symbol of globalization, dual identity, and the tensions between the United States and China. Media praise and the celebration of talent. In one of its features, The Athletic, the sports journalism brand owned by the New York Times, published an in-depth profile celebrating Gu's talent and unique personality. The article portrayed her as a once-in-a-generation athlete, highlighting her intelligence, ambition, and extraordinary success in skiing. Writers described her performances as almost superhuman and praised her ability to balance sports, modeling, education, and international fame. From the perspective of sports journalism, such praise is not unusual. Exceptional athletes often receive glowing coverage when they dominate their sport. However, the timing and context of the praise triggered criticism from some observers. Why? Because the same media outlet appeared to take a very different tone when discussing American athletes representing the United States. The hockey team and the White House visit. At the 2026 Winter Olympics, the U.S. men's hockey team achieved a historic victory by winning the gold medal. It was their first Olympic gold since the legendary Miracle on Ice era. Traditionally, championship teams are invited to visit the White House, a ceremonial tradition meant to celebrate national achievements. When President Donald Trump invited the hockey team to visit Washington, many players accepted. Yet this seemingly routine tradition quickly became controversial. A columnist in The Athletic argued that the team's willingness to associate with Trump carried political implications in a deeply polarized nation. According to the commentary, interacting with the president in such a climate could transform a sporting celebration into a political statement. The columnist suggested that athletes should recognize how easily their actions can be interpreted as political endorsements. For critics of the article, this commentary raised an important question. Why celebrate an athlete representing another country while criticizing athletes representing their own? A perceived double standard. Many observers argued that the two narratives created a striking contrast. On one side, an American-born,